Yes, hello everyone. Good morning, all of you. Today we are going to discuss functional strategies. What are those? What do you mean by functions and strategies, and how they are different from our topics that we have discussed till today. So, if you think strategy as a upper level document, upper level decision planning done by top management team, I mean, we can have generic strategies like cost leadership, differentiation, and focus strategies. However, sometimes strategy is needed in the functional levels of the company. Not at the top level only is enough. Having a general strategic plan or strategic plan document is not enough. Sometimes for each individual department, each individual function, there need to be a strategy, like what kind of strategies are there? Like marketing, financing, R&D, operations, purchasing, logistics, HRM, information technology strategies that we can need. Why do we need these kind of strategies? Because actually strategy is somehow exists everywhere, right? It's basically it's planning, and its main aim to gain a competitive advantage against your rivals, against your competitors. So what we have talked till today is generally first two levels of this pyramid, right? Business strategies, like how to strengthen the market position of the companies regarding their rivals, and corporate strategies, how to make big decisions like investing, growing, stabilizing, or retrenchment strategies. So in these kind of big level strategies, we have get familiar with the concepts of resource-based theory, Porter's generic strategies, and corporate strategies like growing, concentrated, right, diversification, or retrenchment strategies, these kind of strategies. And today, one step below, we go into a detail within the company. Do we need to make a strategy for our functional levels, right? This is the main question today that we discuss. And also the second question is outsourcing strategy, make or buy. Outsourcing in Turkish, we call it taşeron. Having some other company produce your products and then you buy from them, okay? If you do it like that, we call it outsourcing. If you make it yourself, if you produce your own goods, this is a making strategy. We will discuss this. And also we will talk about strategic choice, alternatives, scenario development, these kind of our outline today. So what's a functional strategy? Functional strategy actually, we need to maximize our efficiency, maximize our productivity in each level, each department. So we want to pull together all of the activities and competencies of each department. So in departmental level, we need strategies. Actually, this is more realistic in terms of understanding the company's structures better, right? And it's more focusing on competencies of the company rather than external conditions, rivals, positions, government regulations, environmental factors like pestle that we have discussed, or opportunities and threats. We generally focus on our own company's competencies, our department's competencies, like their technical abilities, their design abilities, their HR abilities, right? These kind of things actually matters in functional strategy. So, as I said, we want to identify our core competencies, we want to strengthen them, and we want to actually preserve them to keep our competitive advantage preserved. So again, whether you look at the inside of the company or outside of the company, the main goal, main motive of developing strategy is sustaining competitive advantage. So by looking each of your functional departments and focusing on them individually, you also try to do that, okay? you also try to achieve that. So let's start with marketing strategy. Actually, marketing is a very huge literature. It's the individual course in our bachelor degree. But generally here is how do you put your products pricing, right? And how do you advertise it? How do you connect with the customers, right? This is important in marketing strategies, and you can see it in your individual lives, right? And there are so much annoying advertisements, right? In all over the places, all over the social media channels like Trendyol, Getir.com, this kind of advertising. These are all actually are marketing strategies. They want to make their brand more known to your eyes, right? They want to be more reached by customers. So pricing is the first strategies of the marketing strategy. Let's start with that, and then we will move on this advertisement issue. So the first one, the first strategy is scheme pricing. So if your product is novel, if you have a differentiated product and you don't have much competitors, actually you enjoy a high price, right? If you only have this, and if you can only provide that quality, you can charge huge prices and make huge profits. We call it skimming the cream, right? Cream of the market. But it's not always possible, because when there is a huge profit potential in a free market system, competitors arise, right? Some other companies go into that market and they want to also take this share from you. To deal with that, another strategy is called penetration pricing. It is about market penetration and having the markets. When you have more shares in the market, it is called you are penetrating. You are penetrating the market. It means penetration means that, I mean, you have more shares of the market. So how can you do that? You can give low price, right? If you give low price, demand will increase. A basic economics principle. You lower the price, the demand increase. And you can dominate this industry by this way. And also, you can apply a dynamic pricing strategy as well. Prices change based on the demand, based on the market segment, etc. Actually, you can see in supermarket chains, some of them actually, when they open their store in a luxury neighborhood, their prices are a little bit more, right? But when you go to a more low-income neighborhood, their prices are lower. So actually, they are setting a dynamic pricing strategy here, changing based on the customers' specialties, their needs, their expectancies. Selling. So how do you sell your product, right? Actually, this is another important thing. How do you sell your product? How do you make it customers can buy it? So first you can develop the market itself by capturing a larger share of existing market, right? For current products. This is you can do it by pricing strategy or other market saturation, penetration strategies, right? And then you can develop new markets as well, similarly. I mean, there is no market for that product. It's a new product, you develop your new market. Or there is an existing customer potential of a market, you add additional customers. So this is also developing a new market. For example, you while you are only operating in Ankara, you decide to open in Istanbul, right? You're developing, adding a new market to you. And product development, you can develop new products for existing markets or for newer markets. So as you see here, there is by the time market demands, market sales have changed, right? We see it in product life cycle and industrial life cycle actually. And as you see in the first introduction and growth phases, generally there is huge increase in the demand. But in the maturity phase, we come to a point what we call a market saturation. Market saturation means there is no more demand, no more additional customers available in that market. It is a top level, okay? And after that level, if you cannot intervene, if you cannot make a change, whether in the market or the product itself, you will go into a decline. This is our all marketing terminology, and generally companies try to catch the market in the growth phase or introduction phase to till the maturity phase and skim the cream by that time, because you can enjoy it if you are a first mover. And then at the maturity level, they become a defensive position to their share because the customer numbers are not increasing anymore, right? They become a defensive strategy if they have a share. Or in the decline phase, they may quit the job, they may leave the job, or they somehow try to rebirth the product or market. Yes, so while selling, what you need to do mostly is advertising, right, or promotion. Advertisement is something actually very crucial. I mean, all of our entertainment sector, TV shows, all of the social media, all dependent on these advertisements. So the big companies are trying to reach the customers, okay? And technology provides very quick solutions to them to be able to do that. And when you reach your customer, you can convince him to buy your product, right? This is the main idea. This is the capitalist system's main idea. Making all individuals consumers, consuming. Even without earning any money, they want to make you a consumer, right? You are consuming your future incomes, for example, through credit cards, right? I mean, you are taking credits from banks and you are actually consuming your future incomes, which have not been realized yet. Anyway, this is another issue, but what is advertising basically in marketing strategy? First of all, you use it to exist a brand, to create a brand, right? I mean, we all are familiar with this Banabi, Getir.com, this kind of very new e-commerce sites, right? Like e-marketing, e-supermarketing. And as you remember, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, none of them are existing in Ankara, right? I mean, almost 2 or maybe 2.5 years ago, they initiated this. And now everyone knows them. How can they make a huge brand awareness into ours, right? Actually, they make a strategy of mass advertisement, right? In every TV channel, in every YouTube video that you watch, while the annoying advertisements comes up, right? Or in every social media, in any website that you are surfing, you see their advertisements. I mean, they are actually spending lots of money, maybe millions of dollars they're spending on these advertisements to make their brand evident in the eyes of the customer. Okay, this is what we call a brand extension. And when a brand is known by the customers, it's actually have a value itself. Think about the value of the brand name Coca-Cola. Okay, it's maybe cost billions of dollars, right? Just the brand name, because they have been investing in that brand name for over 100 years, and they are very successful. And to protect their brand name, they actually do very interesting strategies, interesting mass media strategies. And they claim that the most known second word in the whole world, I mean all people in the world, in our world, knows what does it mean Coca-Cola. I mean, after the first word is okay, which means tamam in English. I mean, the first most common word is that, according to a study. And the second most common word is Coca-Cola. Okay. And when you think that this does not exist 200 years ago in the world, right? There is no such world exists, such a product exists. And now you can see that everyone knows it. From Africa to Asia to South America and Europe, everyone knows what a Coca-Cola is. How come? How they manage this, right? This is a marketing strategy, actually. They created a brand. And as you may remember, there were a type of cola, Coca-Cola Zero, but they changed its name, right? Zero. You remember that? Anyone, any of you remember Coca-Cola Zero? Can you answer me?
Yes, sir, I remember.
Can you see it now in the markets, in the restaurants?
There is light, I guess, but I haven't seen Zero one.
Yes, they changed its name. They make it sugar-free Coca-Cola, şekersiz Coca-Cola, right? Why do you think they do that? What is the reason? Because it was very successful, right? I mean, you are zero. I mean, bring me a zero. Bring me a zero. Everyone is very. People like that brand, that name Zero, right? Why do you think they changed this name? Such a successful product. Any comments?
Hocam, I believe it is because of it also refers to something, nothing, so zero. So when some people think about it's zero, you mentioned about the 0 calories from a cola, but on the other side, maybe people think that something refers to means nothing, which is like not a one or
negative meaning.
Yes, negative meaning. I believe that's the reason. But still, people ask Coca-Cola şekersiz for zero. Like
still, right?
Yes, still they don't use the şekersiz but say zero.
Actually, yes, it might be one of the reasons, but the actual reason, the Zero, the brand name Zero, is used instead of Coca-Cola more. So they think that if we continue like this, Zero become more prominent, more front than our brand Coca-Cola. So they actually try to protect their brand name, okay? Because as you say, people do not ask, for example, I want a zero Coca-Cola. They ask, I want a zero, bring me a zero. I mean, they don't even say the name Coca-Cola, okay? So they think that this could be harmful to our brands, okay? Zero, because it's moving more, it's having more priority than the main brand of Coca-Cola itself, okay? So this is their idea. This was their idea. I mean, whether it's good, it's a good idea or bad idea, it's another story. But they don't want to kill their product's name. They don't want to damage their own product's name, but with a product that they produce. So they changed this to şekersiz, sugar-free. This is how important is. I mean, I wanted to give you this example to you to see that how important the brand is, okay? Because when you create a brand and when people get familiar with that brand, I mean, people go buy it, right? I mean, it's the main idea to sell them more. Okay, then what kind of different strategies in advertisement that you can use? Okay, we know that brand is very important, and now how can you convince people to buy your product? There are two basic strategies here. One is push strategy and the other is pull strategy. In the push strategy, you focus on retailers. In the pull strategy, you focus on the end customers. Let's see the example here. In a push strategy, you are a manufacturer, okay? You focus your marketing activities on the intermediaries, like the retail stores. Think about the example of Coca-Cola. For example, you want to sell your products, okay? And you go to a supermarket, you say that, okay, you need to leave that very central shelf to me, okay? I want to put my products here. So when customers and users go into your market, they first see my product, not Pepsi, not Cola Turca, not anything. My products will be more fancy in your product, in your market. They need to have a good position, and also you give them promotions. For example, you say to a market, if you sell, let's say 10 of my products, I will give you 2 free, for example. But you are focusing here to the intermediaries, not the end users. Okay, you create your marketing strategy, base your marketing strategy on the supermarkets or retailers, and then these retailers, the end customers come there and they see your product and they buy your product because these retail stores put more place to your products. Okay, this is push strategy. So you are actually pushing the markets more to sell your products. Okay. What is the other one? The pull strategy. This exists when you direct the end user. Okay. So the end user go to the retail store and ask your product, and the retail store then need your product. Okay. This is mass media is a good example of it. Advertisement. I mean, generally Coca-Cola actually is doing that, right? Always we are seeing its commercials in our TV and everywhere. So this is the main difference between the first one. You focus on the intermediaries. The second one you focus on the end users. These are some examples here, like push tactics, like promotions to encourage retailers' demands. Directly selling to customers, showroom to face-to-face. I mean, leaving the retailers out of the game. This could be a push tactic as well. So stocking your products, negotiating them. Okay, stock my product, sell my product. These kind of things. And what are pull tactics? Mass media promotion, advertising, word of mouth referrals, customer relationships, sales promotions, and discounts. Discounts is a very fundamental marketing strategy, right? Or buy one, get the second one free. It is a very, very famous and very most effective marketing strategies, right? I mean, when people feel that they are buying something for free, in addition, they will more likely to spend their money, right? Even if it's almost the same price, you can actually marketing, advertisement, in my opinion, is somehow is a tool for fooling people, right? It's a tool for fooling people to buy your products, actually tricking them. I mean, most of the advertisements are immoral, unethical, because you want to create a perception in the customer's eyes to convince them buy more, consume more, buy unnecessary things, right? By making promotions, by making huge advertisements. And actually you are causing overconsumption, you are causing waste, you are causing many other bad things. However, this is a strategy. I mean, the companies are doing that to make more profits. This is capitalism there. You cannot blame. Actually, we can blame, and we should blame these kind of strategies as well. Anyway, this is not the focus of this course. Okay, what is financial strategy then? It's actually very important. I mean, maybe the most important thing, because why a profit-oriented company makes its jobs to make profits, right? I mean, you invest some money, you want in return some high profits. So, what kind of strategies you need to do? The very basic one is finding some funds. Okay, finding money to continue the operations or investing in new shares. So if your cash flow is very good, if you can create your own money from your operations, this is good. I mean, this is a very, secure strategy, right? You don't need any money from outside. But if you want to go bigger, if you want to use other resources, actually there are a few options. The first one is external funding. I mean, you can go take some credit from a bank or an investor or a venture capitalist. I mean, you can sell your shares to that, these kind of things could be. Or you can issue new stocks, I mean, okay? And you can get the funding from internally. I mean, you can take the money of your own investors. I mean, there are some things like that. For example, initial public offerings. You open your stocks come to the public, and people can buy your product, buy your stocks, and become a shareholder to you, okay? Stockholder to you. Sorry. This is financial strategy. Actually, there are details on that. This is not our topic today. R&D strategy, another important one, because as you all know, innovation, technology is very important for companies to develop competencies, right? To develop skills, abilities internally. So how to access them? How do you develop your products? How do you develop your processes, right? This is very important. I mean, are you a technology leader or technology follower, right? I mean, you created some new products that high technology, or you are just imitating some other company. And what are the implications for the low-cost strategy and differentiation strategy? If you have a very good R&D department, if you have very good product designs, maybe it could give you a differentiation, right, from your similar rivals products. But if you have a as well, when you have good technology in terms of production lines, you can also lower your costs, right? Maybe you can do it less costly than your other rivals. To do that, maybe if you cannot do that, maybe you can purchase a minority stake in a high-tech new entrepreneurial company venture that need a capital growth. So you can make some alliances here. You can buy any company. You can make strategic alliances to use their technological levels. I mean, you can do this kind of. Yes, we actually mentioned a little bit about this. Technological leadership means you are developing that. You are pioneer in this technology, product design, and process design. And followership is just imitating someone. I mean, there is a new technology in the market, you imitate that. Operations is about how do you actually produce your product or service, okay? Where, for example, what will be the place? Very important one, very strategic question. Where are you going to open your store? Where are you going to build up your factory, right? So how your production process continue? Level of vertical integration, level of horizontal integration, right? Physical resources, relationship with your suppliers, relationship with your logistics. All of these are related to operations. And manufacturing strategy is very also important. For example, are you producing a mass production with a low-cost strategy or specialized production, right? These kind of things are important. Purchasing. How do you find your raw materials, suppliers from one source only, multiple sources only, or parallel sources, right? Together at the same time, two different suppliers. Why this is important? I mean, maybe you remember the 5 forces, right? The purchasing power supplier's power, right, on you. I mean, if you only have one supplier, maybe you have a problem, right? He can increase the prices, but if you have multiple sources, maybe you can enjoy some cost reduction. Logistics deals with the flow of the products into and out of the manufacturing process, logistics, and how do you carry your products, right? And transfer, for example, you want to centralize your logistics and control all of the logistics yourself, or outsource this. What do we mean by that? I mean, for example, you are selling some product on online marketing and you have an order. I mean, is it easy for you to make a deal with some cargo company like MNG, Aras, Yurtici, anyone, and deal with them to transport your products, or do it yourself, hiring a new, let's say, hiring a motorcycle guy or a car, and then bringing your products to the customers? Which one is more better, right? This is what we call is outsourcing. If you do it, if you give it to another company to do that, this means that you don't want to do it. Yes, and offshoring is a form of outsourcing. You wholly own a company, okay, in another country, and do your jobs, do your production for you. Not your original name, but you go to buy a company from China, okay? They are making the production and they are sending to you, and you just put your brand name and sell it. This is called offshoring. So outsourcing, make or buy. I mean, do I want to buy products outside or some service outside, or make it myself? I mean, there are some disadvantages as well, right? If you buy it from China, this is there is an example of it. There could be some customer complaints about the quality, right? And there could be very long-term contracts with outsourcing. I mean, you cannot just, okay, I don't like your production style, I want to quit this job. I mean, this is almost impossible most of the times because you make long-term contracts with these other companies. And sometimes there is a lack of ability to learn new skills and develop new competencies because you cannot control another company, right? So whatever they produce, you need to accept. What if they are not competent that much? What if you cannot save your costs that planned by you before? And what if there is a poor product quality? These are all disadvantages. So when we think about that, we come to a critical strategic questions: which activities should be outsourced then? Which activities you do? So generally, they suggest that don't outsource your strategic activities, your important activities that make you better than your rivals, but outsource unrelated or not important activities like cleaning the university, right? Our university actually need to clean all of the classes, all of the buildings, and this job should be done, must be done. Should we employ some new people to do that by ourselves as the university? Think ourselves as a private university, of course, not a government university. Or should we just make an agreement with some cleaning company who deal it with themselves? I mean, we don't care how do they do that, but they deal with that. So cleaning is not much a critical activity, right? We can outsource it. I mean, this is good. But what if we want to outsource our lecturers, right? I mean, some other company just decides who will give the lectures, right? Who will be our professors, who will be our teachers. This could be not a good idea, right? Because this is the main critical thing that determine our success level, right? Similarly, some companies produce something, right? For example, they're producing a car. So the most important aspect of the car, let's say, is engine. So the engine is produced in the original country, but some plastic parts of that company is not that important, and they want to outsource that. They want to just order some Chinese, Indian, or Turkish company and bring it to, let's say, Germany. This could be done. However, they need to be careful with the activity itself, whether it's a strategic activity or not. They need to be careful with the contracts, right? They need to consider hidden costs, and they need to have an exit strategy, which is generally don't exist in an outsourcing strategy. So this table actually says that if your activity's potential competitive advantage is low, just outsource it, okay? It is not important. An activity's total value added to firm's products and services is high, and competitive advantage is high. Don't think that much outsourcing. Do it yourself. Make a vertical integration. Just go buy that company if you want to, and do it yourself. Control it, because it's the critical success factor, key success factor for you. Yes, let's move on. HRM. HRM is very important because the people, their skills and abilities are very important for the success of the company. There is a huge literature on HRM strategies here. How do you, for example, from the time you're recruiting them, right? You recruit them, and then you training them, and then you give them jobs, then motivating them. Everything is very important. Information technology as well. How do you use information? Actually, this is the information age, right? There are huge data about the customers, about the environment, everything, and how do you use that data and turn them into an information. Data is something number, but it's not valuable until you can turn it into information. Okay. Yes, let's mention about this, what not to do in business and functional levels, and then we can move on our presentations. What kind of strategies that we need to avoid? Okay, what we should not do. So first of all, following the leader. Okay, so just imitating the leader in the market is not a good strategy in the long run. In the maybe short run, you can make some average profits, but in the long run, you cannot adapt this. This is because you are not the same with that company, and copying that is not a good strategy every time. Hitting another home run means that do not consider the change in the market and continue to insist on your existing old technologies to make additional income profits. What is the example of it? They give the example of Polaroid company who produce photography machines, cameras, and they, for example, invested in developed a Polavision named camera in the mid 70s, but this was black and white and old technology camera. At the same time, Sony has produced video recorders, okay, with colors. So they wanted to make use of their existing technology and produce a white and black color camera and introduce to the market. However, they actually lost more than $500 million because of that, because they didn't catch the new technology of Sony, the video recording cameras with pictures, with colored pictures, right? Don't do that. Don't insist on your old existing technologies. Don't try to do everything together at the same time. If you do it, you will be unsuccessful because you will have many weak market positions instead of a very few strong ones, right? You want to be good at everything. You cannot be good at anything. Don't go to arms race with the market leaders. Don't go to high competition, fierce competition. It will be very costly to you. And don't put more money on a losing hand, right? Like allocating research and development efforts on weaker products instead of strong products. These are kind of strategies are not yes, this is enough, I think, for today. Any questions about this? Okay, thank you. Then I am stopping recording.